name is Burgandi Phoenix.
And I'm Govind Kumar.
And you are watching The Curve, brought to you by
Casting Frontier.
Yes. And today,
today's subject, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about audition etiquette. All right.
Do's and don'ts. Mm-hmm. Mostly don'ts. Yeah. But some do's, but mostly don'ts.
Things we've learned along the way, things we think any beginner struggling actor should know out there. Let's start with punctuality.
Oh, number one.
Yeah.
Always be early. Not on time. Early. But not too early, right?
Not too early, because you don't want to be that creep who's like an hour and a half ahead. But I think I'm coming from... I can't
that creep.
Cut that out, creep.
He's apparently been that
creep. I've been a creep many times. I've been like 3 hours early. No, but I came from New York. It's a different thing. You have to deal with the subway. But here, you have to think about three things, right? Traffic, parking, and then the elevator ride out.
Right. And all the people before you.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to be, I think the kind of a good thumb that we've heard from different casting directors is 20 minutes early, at least to be here, because they may have they may have an NDA for you to sign. They may have sides.
Yeah.
Impromptu.
You get new sides. Also, I think, what did James tell us? James Levine from Action Casting. Mm-hmm. He actually said to us that there's no way to be on time in LA, that you have to you're either early or you're late. And there's only one that works for him. And that's to be early so that you're not late.
And they may pair you up. You just don't know what's going to come your way. So it's always better, because you don't want any residual or added stress.
Yeah, and you also don't want one thing to take your chances away. You worked so hard to prepare for this audition. You had a coaching. You probably paid money for that if you're me. And then you go in there and you're 10 minutes late, and they see that on the sheet, and people just don't want to work with people that aren't on time. Now, look, we're not perfect, especially me. Like, that was my middle name when I first moved here. It was like, Miss Always Late, but worth the wait. And people didn't care. Oh. So I had to be very conscious of being here and being on time. And it's still, of course, with everyday life here in LA, it's difficult, but it's very important as a main, make it a priority. It will change your career.
So if you have a time frame, don't abuse it. But of course, if you're in the scenario where you're running late or, something has happened,
there's some simple things you can do, right?
You should call your agent and make sure you're communicating with your agent, because then they can communicate with the casting director.
Right. Do not call the casting office directly if you have representation. It makes a problem. Let them communicate with each other. Also, one thing, too, is when you get there, if they're like, okay, great, we need you in the room right now.
You can speak up for yourself.
Please speak up for yourself.
I just need a minute, because you're going to carry in that stress, that, that quixotic energy. And you can say, I just need a minute, or hide in the bathroom.
Be nice about it. Go to the bathroom really quick and just take a breath. And then come out and say, or don't take 10 minutes in the bathroom either.
Because I've been in that situation where I'm running late and then I think, and don't be overly apologetic, but I've done all that. You walk and you go, oh, of course, you'll walk in, and then
you weren't even focused.
I've left the room and going, that was a waste.
Totally.
You were stressed. You weren't present.
Yeah, no, totally. Now, also another thing with auditions. Okay, we're going to move on to number 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Wardrobe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wardrobe, people.
So,
do you notice how we're wearing things that aren't blending with the back blue wall, and the color that we are absolutely not wearing, even though both of us have olive skin tones, is white.
Yeah.
Don't wear white.
Don't wear white.
It's terrible for your skin tone, right? And for the camera.
The light will reflect for the camera. It's bad.
Yeah. It just doesn't do you any favors. It's distracting. And most people tell you in the audition, right, in the instructions, no white, no fine stripes, no obnoxious patterns, follow those to a T. They will help you. If you need to dress up like your character, right?
Again, always take a cue from the directions about what the character type is, and your wardrobe should be influenced off of that. I also think, what's great is if you have a car, if you're going in an Uber or a Lyft, bring a backup wardrobe.
Men don't think about the idea of little things like shaving cream, razors, deodorant, even moisturizer. Sometimes, if you just shave, your face can get a little bit dry. I mean, just little
mouthwash.
He's living out of his car at this point. But we all sleeping bags. No, but I take 3 changes of clothes.
Yeah, and if you have multiple auditions in one day,
right? Same day auditions,
because
have you ever gotten a phone call? You're leaving one audition. You're like, great. Now I'm going to go home and I'm going to take a yoga class. And then they're like, nope. You're going to go to another audition. And
just having a backup shoes, backup just solid shirt.
Yeah, it's not a commercial. It's theatrical.
Yeah. And worst case scenario, if you have a shirt that can work, if it's a t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt, or for women, whatever appropriate, that is a backup outfit. Because you don't want in a scenario where you don't have time to go back home.
Yeah.
And then you're rushing.
Right. Okay, so number 3, respect space, right? And boundaries. There is a, what did James call it?
Invisible line.
Invisible line.
So
don't
when you
cross
walk in, please, we've heard a lot. Don't feel the need to go and shake the casting director's hand or make body contact.
Don't do that.
You think of it as you're there to do what? Is to do your audition and present that well.
Right. It's like a job interview, professional. You're not going to, maybe at a job interview, you might shake hands if they offer. Now, if a casting director offers you a hand and says hi, don't be like, ugh. No, I can't shake your hand.
But a lot of times,
be human.
People don't want to get sick and people don't. It's unnecessary. So don't do something that'll sabotage you. Also, strong cologne or perfume.
Don't do that. People might be allergic. I know I'm so sensitive to everything and it would give me an instant headache if I walked in.
It's terrible.
It's like, no, just don't do it. Just be respectful of other people's possible sensitivities. You never know. Also, what was the other thing we were talking about in the room? So if, for instance, you're in the room, right? And you happen to know the casting director, right? And the casting director's like, oh my gosh, so good to see you. Again, be a human. Don't worry about it. But the general rule of thumb is just don't be that guy or girl. Just don't be that human. Don't be that person that crosses a line before you even get the chance to audition. And then all the casting director or session runner, whoever is thinking about it is like, God, they feel so uncomfortable that they had their space invaded. Yeah. Don't be a space invader.
And I think it goes back to, you deserve to be there. You got this slot. And, there are thousands of people usually being submitted for each audition. So the fact that you're even getting in the room, just to be grateful, to be present, to not add on so many layers of extra talking, of extra conversation, of nerves.
Yeah. Speaking of number 4, the other thing to do is pay attention. When you walk in the room, be a good listener, because a lot of times, they go over instructions. And if you're in your head thinking about what to ask, what you're going to do in your audition, how you're going to impress them, stop. Because then you're not listening. And most of the time you're not doing what they've asked you to do, or you have to ask them to repeat themselves, which is also a sign that you're not listening to what they're saying. You don't follow directions. You don't take direction well.
Yeah, you're there to solve a problem for them.
Yes, not make more problems.
And to offer the uniqueness of you.
Right.
And so, and when, and if you're lucky enough, if they're giving you direction, it's really listen to that direction.
Which leads us into number 5, which is...
Give it to me.
Take direction. You just said it.
I'm not off book.
Take direction. So if you get a note or a direction, it's a great thing. It means that they want to help you enhance your performance into what the client is looking for. The first sign of resistance, and I've had this as an experience and didn't realize it because I was nervous or I was just, I was new many moons ago, of being like, okay. And they're like, is that okay? And you're like, no, it's fine. But just roll with it. And here's the thing. Be flexible, right? Yeah. Be prepared, but be flexible. Have all your work done, but if they say to you, hey, Govind, can you do it like this? What are you going to say? Yeah,
you're not going to say no, and you want to take direction. You don't want to be rigid. You obviously want to come in and make a choice and not be bland.
Right.
But you also, if they throw you a curveball, you have to be ready for it.
Even if it's not what you prepared, right?
Yes.
If it's totally opposite of what you prepared for, think of it as another opportunity to play. Okay. Give yourself a minute, take your breath, take your artist,
because they can smell defensive.
Yes.
Right? They don't want to work with someone who's going to pose a problem or be problematic or kind of feel resistant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And number 6 is what? He was touching on this earlier. Be yourself.
Yeah.
You're you. You're the reason you got in the room for being you, not being him, not being a version of yourself that you think they want you to be in order to impress them. Stop.
And stay in your own lane. I think that, a lot of people, I feel like it's sometimes or if you're waiting in the lobby or the person is in there for a while before you, or you're waiting and a lot of actors sometimes are chatty with each other. You can, whatever you feel that you need to prepare yourself or get in your mode, know what you need and what, do you need some time? Do you need to listen to music?
One thing that we think is really important is don't cast
the other people in the lobby who are waiting to get in. Focus on yourself.
Right.
And it never behooves anyone to feel competitive and I've done that,
Oh, me too.
It's that La La Land scene where there's 40 Indian guys. And
Same.
I'm like, that guy's going to get it. But then what
he gets it.
You're out of the moment. You're not thinking about your audition.
And you're putting the energy towards that guy booking it. And it's probably going to happen.
And it's now
for you, it's great.
I'm trying to work on it. And it's great because now I'm just happy. I'm 10 years ago, it wasn't that many. And so now it's just exciting that, hey, there's all these people out there, but how do I set myself apart?
Yeah. And it's one of those great things too, where like, I'm very conscious of the idea of like, if I know somebody in the audition room, because you start to get to know people once you're doing it so often. And then now it's like a happy thing.
And here's a big don't we have been told by multiple people, which is don't crash an audition.
Don't do it, people. It can't lead to anything
it mostly doesn't
positive.
work. And you don't want to have a reputation. And, and people work really hard and agents get you these auditions. And so if you're just crashing, first of all, for the person who's signing in, it's stressful. And you're going to have to jump so many hurdles to even get there.
Yeah, it's just, and it also, I don't know, like, I feel like it just feels rude. And the whole time I've been here, I've never crashed one audition. I can honestly say that because I was told by so many people that it was not okay.
Well, I've had people who've said that. And then I go, oh, did you get it? I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? They're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
well, nothing negative happened. And I'm like, well, how do you know nothing negative happened out of that? You just went and you crashed. And of course, they're going to be polite because that's what they are. Sometimes they won't be, though.
And there could be a scenario where, let's say the assistant who's signing people in, if it's not stressful or overwhelming and you think you're so right for that type, you can absolutely ask politely.
Politely. Don't touch them, though. Don't tap them on the shoulder.
But
Don't
again, it's like, you wouldn't crash a job interview. And so you could call your agent or representative and say, hey, this audition is happening, and find out why you're not called in, or say, hey, can they squeeze me in? But we've heard from most people that it's a big no because it's stressful.
And it's just a really great way to get put on casting's radar for not the right reasons at all. And with names like Burgundy Phoenix and Govind Kumar,
you're not going to get away with it. You can't slip under the radar.
And who can forget these faces? I mean, really, truly. So these are just little things that we think are really important. If you guys think of anything that you want us to touch on or you have questions, don't forget, comment, like, share, subscribe.
Send us your feedback.
Yeah, we would love to answer your questions, or even if you have some great tips and tricks that we haven't thought of, because there's so many, but we only have a certain period of time for these tapes, people.
Yeah.
So subscribe and make sure you watch these episodes, and we will see you next time.